What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Minded Save channel. Today we're going deep into one of the most profound, gut-punching, yet ultimately hopeful books ever written. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. This isn't your typical self-help read. Frankl was a Jewish psychiatrist who spent nearly 3 years in Nazi concentration camps, Auschwitz, Dachau, and others, losing his parents, his brother, and his wife to the Holocaust. Yet instead of emerging broken or full of hate, he came out with a radical message. Even in the absolute worst conditions humanity can create, life still has meaning, and we always have the power to choose how we respond. If you've ever felt lost, depressed, anxious about the future, or wondered why keep going when everything hurts, this book speaks directly to that. It sold over 16 million copies for a reason. In this longer summary, we'll cover his raw camp experiences in detail, the psychological stages of suffering, the core idea of human freedom, and then dive even deeper into logotherapy, his therapy of meaning, with real examples. Grab a notebook, because this one hits different. Let's get into it. Part 1. Experiences in the concentration camps, 1:15 to 8 p.m. Somber music, respectful historical footage, photos. Use sparingly. Focus on illustrations, quotes on screen. The first half of the book is Frankl's first-hand account. He doesn't sensationalize the horror. He analyzes it psychologically. Prisoners arrived in shock. Trains, selections, shaved heads, uniforms, numbers tattooed instead of names. Families torn apart instantly. Many died in the first hours or days from despair alone. Then came apathy, the emotional death phase. To survive beatings, starvation, often 300 to 400 calories a day, endless labor in freezing cold, constant threat of gas chambers, emotions had to shut down. Frankl calls this a protective shell. But not everyone stayed in apathy. Some descended into cruelty themselves, becoming like the guards. Others held on to their humanity. Frankl watched closely. What made the difference? He saw prisoners who shared their last crust of bread with someone weaker, a young man who comforted the dying, men who whispered encouragement during roll calls that lasted hours in snow. Frankl realized the Nazis could strip everything: clothes, dignity, loved ones, health, but they couldn't take one final freedom. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. That's the book's most famous line. Frankl lived it. He imagined detailed conversations with his wife Tilly. He didn't know she'd already died. He pictured himself standing in a lecture hall after the war, sharing what he'd learned, turning suffering into science. He describes walking past piles of bodies during a grueling march, forcing himself to think, "This too shall pass. I will survive to tell this story." Another powerful moment. Inmates were so dehumanized they stopped washing or caring for themselves, until one day, a sunrise broke through the clouds. A prisoner pointed and said, "How beautiful the world still is." In that instant, beauty pierced the apathy. Frankl also talks about humor as survival. Dark, ironic jokes among prisoners that kept their spirits alive just a little longer. The key lesson for Part 1: suffering is inevitable, but meaning can be found in how we face it. Fate deals the cards. We decide how to play them. Even when external freedom is gone, inner freedom remains. Transition, 8:00 to 8:30. Music shifts warmer, hopeful. Liberation came in 1945. Frankl weighed under 70 pounds, but his mind was racing. He rebuilt his life and turned those observations into a new psychology: logotherapy. Part 2, Logotherapy in a Nutshell, expanded, 8:30 to 1500. Shows simple infographic: Freud equals pleasure, Adler equals power, Frankl equals meaning, then 3 paths diagram. Frankl says the main human drive isn't pleasure, Freud, or power, status, Adler. It's the will to meaning. When that will is blocked, we fall into an existential vacuum, that nagging emptiness. Modern symptoms: boredom, depression, addiction, endless scrolling, chasing highs that never last. Frankl saw this vacuum exploding after World War II, and we see it even more today. Logotherapy flips traditional therapy. It's future-focused, not past-obsessed. Instead of, "Why did this happen to me?" it asks, "What is life asking of me right now?" Frankl, we needed to stop asking about the meaning of life, and instead to think of ourselves as those who were being questioned by life, daily and hourly. Meaning isn't the same for everyone. It changes over time, unique to your situation. But there are three main paths to discover it: creation, deed; work, art; building something, helping society. Pour yourself into a cause bigger than you. Frankl rebuilt his manuscript on logotherapy that had been confiscated, literally recreating pages from memory. Experience, encounter, love, beauty, truth, nature, relationships. Frankl emphasizes love as supreme. Even separated from his wife, visualizing her face gave him strength. Quote, "Love is the only way to grasp another human being in the innermost core of his personality." He shares how imagining her smile sustained him through marches where men dropped dead around him. Attitude toward unavoidable suffering. When you can't change or escape the pain, terminal illness, grief, injustice, meaning comes from how you bear it. Frankl, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. He gives examples. A woman grieving her son's death finds meaning by caring for her disabled other child, turning personal loss into purpose. Another, a man terrified of blushing, uses paradoxical intention, a logotherapy technique. He tries to blush as much as possible on purpose. The anxiety vanishes because he stops fighting it. Frankl treated a patient obsessed with fear of fainting. He told him to try fainting dramatically next time. The fear lost its power. Logotherapy isn't about forcing positivity. It's tragic optimism, saying yes to life despite tragedy, finding meaning for responsible action, love, and dignified suffering. Key takeaways: modern relevance and reflection, 1500 to 1730. So what does this mean for us in 2026? Your worst day doesn't define you, your attitude does. Meaning isn't found by chasing happiness directly, it backfires. It emerges when you dedicate yourself to something greater. Quote, "Don't aim at success. The more you aim at it, the more you are going to miss it. Success must ensue as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself." In anxiety, grief, burnout, ask, what responsibility is waiting only for me? What unique contribution can I make? Even small daily choices matter: sharing kindness, creating art, enduring hardship with grace. This book isn't depressing, it's liberating. It says, no matter how dark things get, you still have power. You still matter. If this moved you, read the book. It's surprisingly short but life-altering. Physical copy, audiobook, whatever works. Links below. Have you read Man's Search for Meaning? What quote or idea hit you hardest? Share in the comments. I genuinely read and reply to as many as I can. If you want more deep book breakdowns like this, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thanks for spending this time with me. Keep asking, what is life asking of you today? Keep searching for meaning. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.